Robert! Robert! Coming, William.
What's the matter, William?
Is it? Aye, Robert. It's happened.
Where is he now?
In the tower room.
What must we do now, William?
Get a doctor first, if they're...
We can't bring a doctor here. You know that.
We'll have to chance it. Get him downstairs to one of the bedrooms while I go to the village.
What about Mr. Gerald?
I'll get in touch with him and tell him that he must come here to Craven immediately.
I suppose that was the beginning. It occurred in Scotland, in a remote and distant castle in the highlands. And yet it started the fantastic chain of events which led to my experience in the maze. It was just a year ago. My niece Kitty and I were with a group of friends in a delightful little cafe in Cannes on the French Riviera. It was an engagement party.
Did you see the way that girl was making eyes at my fiancé? Honestly, it makes me wonder what you'd be doing if I weren't here.
I should probably be out looking for you, just as I've been doing most of my life.
See why I'm marrying him, Aunt Edith? He always says the right thing.
Well, I've always mistrusted glib men before. I'll have to make an exception in your case, Gerald.
Thank you, madam.
Well, it seems to me that as the prospective best man, I'm entitled to at least one dance with the bride-to-be. That's before Jerry takes her over, for better or worse. May I, Kitty?
Of course, Richard. Oh, stop smiling, Gerald. You're supposed to be jealous.
You know, Aunt Edith, this being in love is an extraordinary thing. It makes me realize all the years I wasted without being in love.
Gerald, do you think your uncle, Sir Samuel, will come to the wedding?
Sir Samuel? Oh, no, I should think not. He's kept himself locked up in that miserable Craven Castle ever since I can remember.
I have heard it's a beautiful place.
Maybe it is from a distance. Do you know that in all these years, not a single improvement has ever been made at Craven? No electricity, no telephone, no central heating system, nothing.
How long since you've been there?
15 years. When I was there, they had the most fantastic set of rules. My uncle used to lock me in my room every night. Then there was a maze, an overgrown maze, and a gate with a padlock on it. Just one more place that I was forbidden to visit.
A maze? What on earth for?
Who knows? Every Scottish castle had a maze at one time or another. Most of them have been removed, but not the one at Craven. Ah, very handsome couple.
Thank you, Kitty. Well, fare thee well, sweet people. I am going to the bar, where I shall drown myself in a sea of champagne. Life for me is finished.
Well, for me, I still have 2 weeks as a bachelor, and I'd like to enjoy them. How about dancing?
Not telling what that might lead to.
Well, suppose we find out. Excuse us, Aunt Edith.
I'll consider it. Gerald's words about Craven Castle and the McTeam family worried me. Not only what he said, but something he neglected to say. That none of the baronets lived more than a few years after inheriting the title. And Gerald was the next in line. The next day, which was bright with summer sunshine, did much to dispel my worries of the night before.
Aunt Edith!
Oh, the water's wonderful, Aunt Edith. You ought to try it.
This just came for you, Gerald. Express letter.
Express letter? Who could be that anxious to get in touch with me?
Your Uncle Samuel, I imagine. It's from Craven Castle.
Craven Castle? Not a letter from there in 15 years.
What is it?
It's for William, my uncle's butler. He says it's urgent that I come to Craven as soon as possible.
Oh, Gerald, I'm sorry.
When must you leave?
Well, I'm not leaving anywhere until you and I are married.
Oh, well, darling, that won't be for 2 weeks. And if it's urgent, you better go right away. Maybe your uncle's ill.
But we scarcely know each other. We don't mean anything to one another. Oh, I suppose you're right. I'm sorry, darling. I'll get back just as soon as I possibly can. After all, I'm having a wedding in a couple of weeks, and I wouldn't like to miss it.
Glad to hear it. Well, don't look so glum, Aunt Edith. You know, in a way, it'll be a good thing to get rid of Gerald for a few days because we can go shopping for my trousseau and not have him watching all the French models.
Oh, and that's particularly what I was looking forward to. I'll go up and change right now. I'll catch the noon plane for London. The sooner I get up there, the sooner I get back. I'll see you in a few minutes, darling.
Mm-hmm. Do you know, I'd forgotten that one day I'd be a baronet's wife. Lady Gerald McTeam. Sounds impressive, doesn't it?
Yes, Kitty. It sounds very nice.
Good afternoon.
Bonjour, mademoiselle, madame.
Has the late mail come in yet?
Oui, mademoiselle. I'm sorry, there's no mail for you today.
Thank you. We should have heard from Gerald by now, Aunt Edith. It's been a week.
He's probably been very busy. I'm sure you'll hear from him soon.
I'm worried about him. Something's wrong, I'm sure of it. I'm going to telephone him.
Kitty, there are no telephones at Craven Castle. Gerald told me so.
No telephones, but there must be.
No. He said the castle is just as it was hundreds of years ago. No electricity, no telephones, no modern improvements at all.
I'll go to the telegraph office and cable him then.
He's probably on his way back here now.
Well, he certainly would have let me know if he was. I'm going to cable him. Aunt Edith, look at this. Scottish baronet passes. Sir Samuel McTeam, Bart.
died at Craven Castle, Scotland, of a heart ailment this past weekend. He was 45 years of age. Sir Gerald McTeam, his nephew and successor as baronet, has announced that the burial services will be private.
Poor Gerald. This must be why we haven't heard from him. I'm sure it is. He's had to make arrangements for Sir Samuel's funeral and probably lots of other things, too. I'm sure we'll hear from him now.
Of course we will, dear.
Hello? Yes, this is she. Oh. Yes, I understand. Thanks for calling anyway. That was the telegraph company. They sent through a tracer on all my cables to Gerald, and every one of them was received at Craven Castle.
And none of them was answered.
No.
Kitty, I think Gerald silences his answer.
Oh, he's probably busy with the funeral.
How long does it take to scribble an answer to a cable? Oh, my dear, I'm afraid it's obvious now that Gerald does not intend to see you again.
If that were true, he would have said so. He would have written some sort of explanation.
Forget him, Kitty.
I can't, I won't.
It's all very well to be brave and hopeful, my dear, but how long are you going to wait?
As long as it takes. I love Gerald, and I know him. Something's happened. Some sort of trouble. But whatever it is, he'll work it out, and then we'll hear from him.
All right, dear. We'll wait.
There's probably a very simple explanation for it all.